So as I had stated before, the purpose of this YouTube channel is to address some issues that come up when you're smoking meat. So the last video, as you saw, I had trouble getting the membrane off. That's one of the first things you do typically is remove the membrane off the back of the ribs. So I tried that and I could never get it off. As you saw, I was having trouble. So I went to my favorite website. It's smokingmeatsforum.com. I'll put a link there for you. I'm not associated with them, but that's a great resource for you if you have questions. Of course, I would like for you to come to my channel as well, but the folks on there are very fast to respond to questions. So I posted the issue that I was having, and it turned out that a lot of other people have the same problem with ribs that come from Costco. Now, some folks say that they think Costco removes the membrane before they pack them, and that might be true. But others said, I'll just leave the membrane on there. By the time you get your cook done, it's going to be so thin it's not going to make a difference. And so that was the response. The majority of the responses was, don't worry about it. Just smoke them like you would normally do. So with that being said, I have 3 racks that I purchased. They come in a pack, as I mentioned in the earlier video. So this is my first one. So I've decided, well, I've got 3 racks and I'm somewhat new to the game. I think I'll just try 3 different recipes. The first one that I will do is what I typically do with my ribs. And I've honestly have been very pleased with the way they've turned out. So I'm going to do it, the first rack, the way I normally do. And so that starts out with, getting some mustard. Some people say that you need Dijon mustard. And so when I first bought this mustard, I didn't know that. And so I don't know what the point or purpose of having Dijon mustard is, but I guess next time I'll just try it and see. So as you can see, we're just going to give those a nice rub, all right? And as you notice, my pink butcher's paper that I use, again, it's available on Amazon. You just do a search for pink butcher's paper. The only thing you have to worry about and make sure of is that it's not, it's wax free. You don't need any wax on there. Also, make sure you get the ends here with the mustard. You don't want to leave any of the ends not coated as well, because again, this mustard just simply acts as an adhesive. And so some people would think, well, I don't want a mustard flavor rib, and I promise you're not going to get a mustard flavor rib taste. So don't worry about that. Okay, so I've got the mustard on there pretty well. Okay, now I'm going to put my favorite rub. I just used this butt rub. It's again readily available at your local stores or meat markets. I got these at Costco. It's like $7 for this big jar, 26 ounces. Now again, a lot of people make their own rubs. I've not really had an issue with this, nor have I tried my own recipe, but I'm not sure if you can see this, but most of the recipe ingredients for rubs are the same, or at least very, very similar. Salt, pepper, black pepper, granulated onions, granulated garlic, paprika, and chipotle powder. And that's, if you look at the ingredients on most of the rubs, that's what most of them are. Again, obviously there's a lot to choose from out there, but as far as a a go-to rub that you're probably not going to have bad results on, this butt rub is pretty good. So we're going to be very liberal in coating these things, because this is going to give you that nice bark. So you want it thick on there. That's going to go directly on the smoker. Again, we want to make sure that we get a good coating on the sides there. Make sure you get that. Okay. Then you turn them over, pat that in really good, because you're going to turn it over and you're going to lose some of it when you turn it over. However, I'm going to wrap these up for probably 10 hours or so overnight, and that rub is going to stick to the ribs, because I'm going to use this exact same paper to wrap them in overnight. So again, wrap those. Just get a good liberal coating of your favorite rub on there. All right. Okay, so that is the recipe number 1. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. I won't bother showing you me wrapping it up, but that's the first one. Okay, the second one is going to be pretty much the same. The difference, though, is during the cook, there's a point in the cook that's called the stall. And that simply means that the ribs, internal temperature of the ribs becomes to a point where there's no increase in the temperature. And so that's called the stall, because it stops gaining temperature. And that's the point where a lot of people take them off and then wrap them with this butcher paper. Or some people use aluminum foil. I like the butcher's paper mainly because with the paper, it seems to hold in the juices a little bit better, in my opinion. You'll get some people that swear by the aluminum foil. You'll get some that swear by butcher's paper. I'm not going to swear on each one of them, either one of them. I just happen to like the butcher paper, because when I used the aluminum foil, there was pockets of juice in the aluminum foil. Whenever I use the butcher's paper, I don't get that. I don't get any kind of puddles of the meat. So it just seemed like it was a better option for me. So things getting caked up. So I'm going to use this big mouth part. Probably, there you go. That is a little bit too much, but I don't know if there's such a thing as too much. So, all right, so get that on there really well. Now, the question you may have is like, well, I thought you was going to try 2 different recipes. Well, I am. The second one is similar to the first. The difference between the two is that during the stall, I am going to coat them with honey and brown sugar. The first group I'm not. I'm just going to do like I normally do, just dry rub all the way through the cook. But the second one I'm going to actually add some honey and brown sugar during the part where we take it off and wrap it. Okay. Okay. Now this last one is going to be different. I've never done it this way. We're going to use honey. Okay, so this is honey. I live in the North Georgia area. This place called Mercer Orchards is a place in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's off Highway 9, I believe. It's a great place to go check out. They got all kinds of local farms, fresh vegetables, pastries, pies, anything that you can think of. Of course, apples. Apples is big in that area. So, just a little plug for those guys. They're really good folks over there. I don't know them personally. I just know every time I go there, they're really super friendly and always very helpful. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put honey across this thing. Now, some people say, well, we're going to use a half a cup of honey and a quarter cup of brown sugar or whatever. But to me, I found when I pre-measure, especially something I'm going to use for a rub, it really depends on how big the ribs are. And so if you make some, you may get too much or too little. So I am just simply going to use what is necessary for these ribs, okay? So we're going to coat these with honey. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now this is definitely sticky, a lot more than the mustard does, of course. So I'm anxious to see how this is going to turn out. And then the other ingredient to this is simply brown sugar. Okay, just regular old brown sugar, light brown sugar. Now I have tried this before, and I got no, that was burnt ends. I was cooking burnt ends. I haven't posted that video yet, but I was posting some, smoking some burnt ends, and I got actually too much brown sugar on there, and I just contradicted myself about using the right amount of ingredients. But in that particular case, I just overestimated how much brown sugar I needed. So we're going to let these guys sit, and again I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to wrap each of these up, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator overnight and let them soak in all that rub. So I'm going to stop the video now, but I am going to do the other side, and I will let you know how these things turn out. So this is going to be my little experiment, and that's what's fun about smoking meat. You can pretty much do whatever you want. There's no rules. There's guidelines, but there's no rules. As long as this meat is safe to eat, that's really the only thing that's important from a health standpoint. All right, thank you.